Hi, this is Rachel with the Herbalist Garden. We're going to talk about Sliprium today. There's a lot that it does, and way more than I ever thought. So it helps soothe digestive issues, relieves sore throats, reduces inflammation, and all due it to its mucilaginous properties. Come on over and learn some more. Hi, everybody. You know, every podcaster, content creator has a shtick and a don't. And I kind of keep on like rolling with different things, but nothing's good. And like, I'm not catching anything. Nothing is just piquing my interest. I'm working on it. Don't worry, because it's how you stay memorable, I suppose. All right, we're gonna talk about slippery elm today. Remember my disclaimer: I'm an herbalist. I'm not a doctor. Always do your own research. Super important. And I even provide all of the links that I utilized to glean some information down in the description. I'm also going to give you some recipes today, just two. But it'll be cool. It'll be helpful. Screenshot type thing. Pause. Screenshot. All right. So slippery yum it is. We will discuss all its benefits, where it came from, scientific name, precautions, and why slippery elm isn't used as often anymore. Right. So I saw and I've heard how slippery elm is not used in other countries. Some websites say it's banned. It's not like banned in other countries. So slippery elm is not specifically banned in other countries. It is considered at risk due to overharvesting and diseases like Dutch elm disease, leading to restrictions on wild harvesting to protect the species. That is literally why it is banned in a lot of places. So if you don't have to use it, if you have a good, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Way to use something else. Marshmallow root specifically. I already did a thing on marshmallow root. I will put it in the cards up there. And yeah, use marshmallow root over slippery elm, but slippery elm can be ethically sourced, and it is something that actually grows up here where I live. I have not found the tree particularly, but I'm really bad on tree identification. So when I go out, I'll sit there and be like, "Oh, well, that's that." And my daughter will be like, "No, it's not." So I mean, everybody has their strengths. Everybody has their weaknesses. I'm working on my weaknesses. So, but anyways, sustainable practice are encouraged and ensured to keep their availability. So make sure when you're using it, when you're purchasing it, that they're ethically sourcing it. Because we don't want to kill off the species. We want the population to thrive. So, slippery elm is scientifically known as Ulmus rubra. Yeah, scientific words. Fun stuff. It's native to the eastern North Americas. That's where I am. So it belongs to the Ulmus family and is also known by several common names, like red elm, gray elm, soft elm, Indian elm. I mean, it's an elm regardless. So in the United States, it is widely cultivated for its bark, which is which can be ground into a pulp or dried and used as a powder. So, so if you're new here, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. But I read over here and from my notes that I have pulled from multiple areas and my own knowledge. And if I don't read off of it, I lose my place. So, you know, we're all learning something here. So, one of the most active ingredients in slippery elm is the mucilage, which is what creates the pulp or the gruel of the plant that is traditionally used as medicine. It it's the disintegrated bark. That's what you can dry and powder to use. You can put it in drinks. It will kind of get a little bit of a mother per se in there because it's creating a mucilage. Marshmallow root will do the same thing. You can take it as supplements. There's a lot of actual over-the-counter medicine that you can use that contain slippery elm. So it is usually most used for sore throats or a cold. So because it eases throat pain as it coats that mucilage coats the throat and really really helps. So it's rich in bioflavonoids, starches, tannins, calcium, vitamin E. Each has its own beneficial properties to it. The inner bark of the slippery elm becomes slippery when it's chewed or mixed with water, and that's how the tree gets its name. So it is generally recognized as safe, the grass, which is actually going to be a classification here in the States soon. It's in the works. So, as I said, it's most known for sore throats, but there's so many other uses. So it can treat digestive problems. I know that it is in certain medicines that people take that are prescribed by doctors. Open up. It's a ginger lemon probiotic drink juice. So it can help improve bowel regularity. So a small amount mixed in water to make a slurry, which is ingested, then helps your digestive problems. So it can help with constipation due to IBS. It can, and that's proven in a study. It can be the powder form can be mixed in water, and it can soothe heartburn or like just a stomach ache. As I said, it helps with sore throat and a cough. So it has traditionally been used to treat sore throat and cough. Theoretically, the smooth texture of slippery elm soothes the throat; it coats it. People have used it to treat GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. GERD. So people will mix 2 tablespoons of slippery elm powder with water and drink it to ease the symptoms of GERD, usually after meals or before bed. I don't have GERD. I've had heartburn here and there, and yes, that does help a lot. There's a lot of other things that will help that too. I really, really, really want to do a series on like common sicknesses and what can be used, um, what herbs to use for those, and why. Like, because not everybody can use turmeric consistently for inflammation because it can dry you out. But you can use almost anything for inflammation specifically, but turmeric is the one that became trendy quite a few years ago, and it does really really work for people who um, inflammation is their only problem. Inflammation is usually a symptom of a problem. So we'll get it. We'll get it. All right. So it also treats wounds, burns, and other conditions. Um, some people may use slippery oil and put it in an ointment, and that soothes skin ulcers and cold sores. People have used it as doctors have used it as a cancer treatment because it is Essiac or fluorescence. Those are the two things that are prescribed that have slippery elm in it, um, along with other herbs and other ingredients. So we talked about the digestive health. I didn't put these in the right order, but it will alleviate like diarrhea because it'll bulk up the stool. It can basically it's just a full service gastrointestinal cleanser, and it's been used for thousands of years. So it's also considered a demulcent, which means it can soothe the lining of the stomach and intestines and reduce irritation. Another thing to use that people can use is aloe. Um, there are aloe drinks out there. You can use. Um, make sure it hasn't been grown around pesticides, basically. So demulcents are sometimes referred to as mucoprotective agents. While there are limited recent research, some studies suggest that slippery elm bark may help treat symptoms for IBD and Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and IBS. So, a clinical study from 2010 found that a mixture containing slippery elm enhanced bowel movements in people with constipation, pre- predominant IBS. So, I think they're calling that IBS-C now. Um, it was part of a mixture with other ingredients, so they don't really have a definitive thing. I have a definitive thing. I've seen it work on people. It has worked on me. I don't have all those issues, but like I had, what is it called? I don't remember what it was called, but basically it's an infection in the lining of your intestines. It hurt. It hurt. And I used aloe. I did use slippery elm because I have some, and I made it basically a tea, and I drink it over the course of a couple different days. Um, it really did help between that and aloe and marshmallow root. I just powed into that thing. I did oregano oil. I wasn't going to use what the doctors were going to give me because those things actually damage the lining of your stomach, and it coats it, but not in a healthy, natural way. So a 2002 study found the slippery elm exhibited antioxidant activity in people with Crohn's. So, it's got anti-inflammatory activity. Surprise, just like every other plant. So, slippery elm has traditionally been used to soothe sore throats as the bark's anti-inflammatory compounds can significantly reduce throat irritation. Again, creating a pulp of the mucilage is the best approach for this remedy, but drinking a powder mixture will also work, and this fast-acting treatment will coat and protect your sore throat in no time. That is one way that it actually works pretty quickly, because ordinarily you're not going to feel the effects of an herb right away because it's healing at the root cause. That's why herbs are not for symptoms. They can be used for symptoms. There are some that are powerful enough to fix it all in one. But most of the time, we're treating a root issue. We're not treating symptoms of the sickness. We're treating a root issue. So again, circulatory issues. That is something that it helps with. And it includes iron. The slippery elm has iron in it, which is crucial for the production of red blood cells. This can increase circulation and thereby boost oxygenation of important parts of the body. So, an antioxidant. This actually oxygenates properly. More importantly, when combined with potassium, which is also present in slippery elm, you can fully optimize the cardiovascular system and relieve strain. It has healing properties, as we know. So it can treat injuries like burns, abrasions, severe wounds on the battlefield and in the wild, because we're there all the time. I don't know why it said that. Yes, I wrote it, but I also pulled some. That's why I put I pulled some things straight from the websites. That's one of the reasons that I reference them down in the description, so there's no copyright issues, because you'll see if you actually do the research. So the rapid healing properties come from the anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. It's got some antibacterial. It's got some antimicrobial properties. It's so rich in nutrients, minerals, antioxidant compounds. It really does speed up the healing process. That's one of the reasons it actually works on the digestive system, and it works on the throat. It's not just soothing it, it's healing it as it goes. So, and of course, it does skin care. If you're generally in poor skin health, or you have noticeable scars, slippery elm can work as a wonderful remedy. Obviously, the antioxidants, the vitamin blend, but it basically can reduce the appearance of wrinkles, eliminate free radicals in the upper skin layers, and help heal age spots. Can give the skin a more youthful look. So it also can help protect the skin, like if you use it in a salve or an ointment or lotion even, and you use it, it will also protect the skin from many severe infections if you were to get a cut or something. So again, heal up the burns. I would say that is a very good thing to use. It has different properties than marshmallow root. Marshmallow root is more of an internal. It can be used externally, but I would literally put it on the external versus the internal more. But you can make a poultice out of the slippery elm and put it directly on a burn, and it will basically work on healing it and soothing it at the same time. So if you have gastric ulcers, oh my gosh, I hope you don't have gastric ulcers. Those are terrible. I have known people who have had them, and yeah, it's basically when you have your the intestinal lining basically is basically damaged by high acids. So that can coat the intestinal lining. Um, It can detoxify because it's a mild diuretic as well. Like if you went out to dinner and there were no really healthy options and you just said, you know what, I'll detox later. This is a really good detox for that because it will pull out the excess salts and it'll basically help the excretions of the toxins so that you're not so that they will be pulled out of your system faster and it'll help you, go pee, go whatever, so that everything exits your body faster, all those toxins. Um, I had a yummy pretzel, a soft pretzel, last weekend, and I was swollen for 2 days. My hands, like, they hurt, and like it was hard to get my rings on and off, and it definitely to use wasn't specifically the pretzel; it was the salt they put on it, and the cheese dip was so good. I told you I'm not a purist. I do rarely have those things. It was really, really yummy. But those excess salts and all the salts in the cheese and stuff like that, it really does a number on your kidneys in the long run. So all these people with kidney issues, more than likely they're eating high salt content. And it's not the sodium in proper form is not bad for you. Okay, so we talked about its anti-inflammatory properties. Um, talked about, excuse me. Mm, let's talk about how it can actually relieve pain. Not only does it just coat and soothe, but like if you have a balm or a salve of slippery elm and you apply it to a pulled muscle, bruise, or any other painful area of the body, relief is pretty rapid and effective. The antioxidant and analgesic components of slippery elm can soothe in topical pain. I mean, this is a really good plant. I wish that it wasn't so endangered, for lack of a better word. So it can also fix up and heal up a urinary tract infection. So if you have like painful bladder syndrome, which is interstitial cystitis, yeah, slippery elm powder can be used to help soothe the lining of the urinary tract not before, therefore, helps alleviate the symptoms. It'll control the pain at the same time. So it can be used on oral health. If you have like a tooth infection coming on or pain in your gums, you can apply slippery elm to the tooth's crown and surrounding gums to help prevent infection and relieve pain through the herb's anti-inflammatory properties. It contains mucilage, as we know. It's a sticky mixture of sugars that can be broken down by the human digestive tract because it's natural and it works with our bodies rather than against our bodies. So it'll coat the throat, and so it's often found in throat lozenges. So if you can find that, let me know. I haven't found it yet. Not locally anyway, and I probably could look it up, but I just haven't. So it's also a potential help for psoriasis. So a preliminary study has shown that supplementing with slippery elm benefits psoriasis-related rashes and scaly dry patches. In one small-scale investigation, researchers followed 5 people with psoriasis who improved their diets and drank slippery elm bark water every day. Every patient showed significant improvements in their symptoms afterwards. It's not always the case, but psoriasis is often a dairy allergy. It's not always, but it is often a dairy allergy. Um, our bodies just don't produce that without there being a root cause. It's also a distressor. The phenolic compounds in slippery elm can help protect it against the effects of stress, oxidative stress. But also, research has shown that adding slippery elm and other high phenolic herbs to the diet is a great way to relieve both stress and anxiety. I can't stop yawning again today. I don't know. Maybe it's the time of day. Maybe it's because I talk a lot. Maybe. So you can take slippery elm, and if you want to make it, you can. But it's also available in like lozenges, tablets, fine powders for making teas and extracts, coarse powder for making poultice. Um, for tea, you pour 2 cups of boiling water over roughly 2 tablespoons of the powder and steep for a few minutes. To make a poultice for like topical use, mix the coarse powder, make pulp basically, with boiling water and let it cool, and then apply the poultice because it'll just gum up. That's what it'll do. So most websites I found did not give any dosage information. So I found one. Slippery elm incorporated into a daily regime guideline. Dosage guidelines are pretty key. That's why I was like really looking for it. Um, Adults can consume 1 to 2 teaspoons of bark powder per day when prepared as tea or mixed into smoothies. However, individual responses can vary. It is always best to start with a lower dose and assess your tolerance. Um, so, other ways to incorporate it is to um, you have to make sure that you're starting low, conservative doses, and gauge your body's response. Mix the powder with warm water or your favorite herbal tea for a smooth, soothing beverage. You can use it topically. Make sure you use a patch test first. Make sure you're not allergic to it. It can happen. Um, Always talk to an herbalist. Talk to a doctor if you really want to. But definitely find out if it interacts with any medications. And here's the thing about the medications come into it. It actually can slow or block absorption of your medications. Especially when you're using it daily. Like if you're going to use it just once to coat your throat, it's not going to hurt anything. Um, Maybe like a minuscule amount, but it's not going to like overall make your medicines, if you're on pharmaceuticals, not work. That is if you're taking it daily. If you want it to be part of a daily regimen, then you need to talk to your doctor and find out if it will affect its medicine's absorption. As I said, allergic reactions are super rare. It's easy test. If you're taking too much of it, you'll get diarrhea. It's just the way it is. I mean, that is your body's way of saying, hey, you're having too much here. Slow down. It can cause bloating if you're having too much of it, nausea, things like that. They say don't use it on children and pregnant women, but here's the thing. It's been used on children a lot, especially when you're using it topically. And if your kid's got a sore throat, it's not going to hurt them. I promise. Unless they're allergic to it. And unless they have too much. So, as I said, the adults, one to two, what did I say? 1 to 2 teaspoons. So I would do like a half a teaspoon for a kid of powdered bark. It can mildly lower blood pressure. So again, medication absorption. you got to be careful where you're sourcing it from because it can have contaminants in it, just like every. If you're on any medications, we talk about medications. If you're on blood pressure lowering medication and you take Librium, it's gonna make it go lower. Don't do that. Um, don't. It has been said and believed that it can cause a miscarriage. So don't particularly take it if you're pregnant. Um, it says be careful with children. I have seen many children use it. It just depends on the dose. Like the adult dose was 1 to 2 teaspoons, so make it a half or a quarter of a teaspoon. It's not like that you don't need a lot to make the mucilage that is necessary. Let me turn off my heater. It's getting really warm in here. So if you're getting a poor excuse me, if you're getting a poor quality product, it could contain additives or contamination, pesticides. You don't be careful where you're getting your stuff. If it is not mixed properly with water, it can, like what it does is the pulp swells. So if you're not mixing it properly with water and then it gets into your system, it's going to blow up and it can cause a throat blockage. So make sure it's sat and not make sure it's fully integrated and saturated before you try to drink it. And like with every other herb, because it coats tissue, it's not going to work immediately. Although it still can on some people. It just depends on your severity. But if you're that severe, go to the doctor. Go to the emergency room or wherever you need to go to get better because it takes a few. It really does. So interactions. We talked about how it can interact with absorption of medications. Um, there's side effects that can happen, but it's generally safe for most adults. Um, in rare cases, slippery elm can cause mild gastrointestinal symptoms such as nausea or diarrhea, but that's only for taking it in large amounts. So, do research in addition to what I've told you. It is considered a damp herb. So, like if you're trying to treat a condition involving excess dampness, like yeast infections or bloating, don't I wouldn't use Librium. There are other things that can be used better. Um, yeah, that is like legit the majority of what it does. There was a few other things, and there was a lot of repetitive things. So the websites that I gleaned my information from are down in the description below. And I'm going to share 2 recipes with you. So one for Librium tea, and then one other for cough drops. Screenshot or pause and write it down, or write it on your dog. You know, tell other people about it because if you can find it ethically sourced, use it because it is definitely useful for a lot of people. I think we will be highlighting it in our Facebook group, the Herbalist Garden, in the weeks to come, possibly even tomorrow for the Herb of the Week. My daughter is one of our moderators, and she's kind of responsible for the Herb of the Week every weekend. Sometimes she forgets. So we do our best. We are busy people. Finishing up my last semester of school, and have other side businesses that I run as well, in addition to my full-time job where I'm at now. So be patient and be considerate and know that if you think somebody's slacking, there's probably a good reason. And it's not really considered slacking from their perspective. Sometimes balance is necessary. It's something we all need to strive for, is balance. But yes, go check out the Facebook group, the Herbalist Garden. We have 133K right now, and we're continuing to grow. And there's just so much going on everywhere. I'm excited about it. Optimistic. I appreciate you coming here and learning with me today, and I hope that you will ask questions and be kind and let me know what you think. As I said before, the links are in the description below. All my socials are down in there too. I appreciate it very much. Have a great day.